Paul, 3 games to go. We'll look ahead, but let's look back to Tuesday first and foremost and give me your assessment of the win at Exeter.
Pleasing. Obviously, the 2 away games, you'd probably take 4 points, although I'm still raging it's not 6. But I thought first half we just looked a bit nervy and, said to them at half time and just play with a bit more energy, a bit more purpose, and you've got plenty. And I thought we were much better second half. The press was a lot more aggressive because we let them out once or twice on goal kicks first half, which weren't great. But the press was more aggressive. I just thought everything we did, we tried to play forward quickly and had a lot of good movement and created enough chances to win handsomely in the end. Obviously, they got that goal, which made the last 15 minutes hugely unenjoyable. But yeah, overall, pleased with the performance and really proud of the group. I'm trying to stick this answer in because it was in my head as I drove in, but we haven't used the least amount of players in the league, I think, which is testament to the players. And I know I've got some outstanding players in the building, but in this league, to play the amount of games that the senior pros have played is pretty impressive, and that is credit to them as people and credit to the whole medical team and fitness team trying to keep them all together. Because I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but the fact that we've made like Conor Hurahan, Didsy, Foz, Nat, that we've tried to manage their minutes as best we can to get through the season, and with 3 games to go, we're still in with a really good chance of getting into the playoffs with a pretty fit squad is a testament to everyone here. So we've been fortunate, and I think the second half display, the amount of energy the lads have to put out there, playing for me isn't easy, I know, but it's credit to them and they deserve their win, so I'm really proud of them.
Let me ask you a little bit more about David McGoldrick in particular. 21 league goals he's on for the season now. He's been your match winner in a lot of cases. Have you ever worked with a player like him before?
No, not really. I haven't, no. He's a bit of a maverick. Hammy always says I hate mavericks. I mean, it's a bit harsh, but they're harder to, they're not harder to manage as people, they're harder to manage as players, because 60-70% of what Didsy does is unstoppable, unplayable. 30% of what he does is frustrating because he gives the ball away. However, you need that part of him to do that. It's a yin and yang, isn't it? Without, you could pick players who always go sideways and backwards and never give the ball away. But you need the players who are going to take risks, and he's that player. And he's the. When I first came in, when I spoke to him, I told him he was the diamond in the team, and I need to keep him fit and I need to keep him available. Which I think if you asked him, he didn't fully agree on my philosophy of him not training every day and playing every minute, because I needed to get him through the whole season. But a real talent, a really good. I always knew he was a good bloke because I knew someone, a mutual friend who'd worked with him at Ipswich, so he'd always spoke really highly of him, and I had tried to sign him before. Obviously, I got rejected, or this would be a different story. I was just amazed at what sort of rounded bloke he was and how good he is with all the other players. I mean, they obviously hero worship him a little bit too much. No one should get that much praise, but the lads are buzzing for him, and when he scores, the lads are, couldn't be happier for him. So as a talent, the way he lives his life, the way he wants to be the best version, the way he tries to help the younger lads is something to behold. So yeah, we're blessed to have him.
Someone else I wanted to mention was your goalkeeper, Joe Wildsmith, who made a really important save first half on Tuesday, played his 50th game of the season as well, which I know is a massive milestone for him in his first season, really, is an out-and-out number one. How useful, important has it been for you to just not have to worry about that position and just let him get on with it? I mean, I assume you haven't worried about it.
No, not really. No, it's been good. Obviously, when I first came in, there was Joe and Lochi as well, and obviously Joe, I don't think played a part in any game, did he? I don't know if, not when I was here anyway. So, excuse me, when I talk about people keeping fit and all that, it's the same with Joe. We're fortunate we've got him through the season and he's been brilliant. Surprised me to a certain extent. I thought it's difficult because, like you've alluded to, the amount of games he's played, sometimes you have a bit of a dip, or especially if you're not, some of the players like the Connors and that are used to playing 40 games a year. They are conditioned to it. It's not just the physicality, it's the mental part of it. You're just picking yourself up all the time, go again, go again, go again. And that's the hardest bit about being a footballer, I think, at times. It's the relentlessness of it. But I think he's been really good, really pleased him, a great kid. I think I sent him a voice tag yesterday calling it a Gordon Banks save, the save he made, and I'll make a big hoo-ha about it in the team meeting in a bit. But yeah, really pleased, and it kept us in the game. Obviously, the goal we conceded weren't great, but you concede that in them moments you need, and football comes down to moments all the time. Like if you actually watched the game back from the other night, you'd realise possibly we were better than you thought, but you just remember it's a 2-1 and it was close at the end. But it comes down to them moments. Strikers do the moments as well as goalkeepers. So you talk at one end about Didzy's, excellent gets us the win, and then you can similarly the importance of that save in the first half is as great.
3 games to go, battling for a playoff place. Do these games feel like you're almost already in the playoffs, just in the sense of there is no margin for error for you, really, for you or anybody else involved in this fight?
Yeah, a little bit. You're right. I mean, I think, well, it doesn't matter how I build this game up Saturday. It's a game we need to win. I mean, if we don't win and no one else wins, it's just the next one. But you've got to try and do everything you can to win. And I think we did. Well, we have in virtually every game. So the MK Dons game, the lads virtually done everything they could to win, although allowed them one chance virtually and they took it. So if we play at that level, we give ourselves a great chance to win. But the preparation for this game is the same as it is for every other game. The lads are pretty well aware there's only 3 games potentially left, or 6, and they know the importance. So it's not about saying it to them. I just think they understand it, and I think they understood it midweek as well. Really, I think they sort of got it. We reminded them at half time. Really, look. It's getting to that stage where, if we're going to fail, let's fail being brave. Let's fail like running straight into the face of pressure, not hiding from it or cowarding from it. You just got to embrace it. And if we're good enough to get in the playoffs, great. And if we're not, well, we're not. And that's what we have to try and adjust in the summer. So next year we definitely are. So I think we do go into these games knowing they're as error-free as you can be is probably the best way to put it. And when I do a recap on the game the other night, there was things that we got the press wrong, and it doesn't half help get the message across, because you say to the lads, look, you get the press wrong once on Saturday, and it could be the last minute or the first minute and you concede, then, that could be the difference between success and failure. Even one goal the goal difference could matter, hence why I was disappointed we conceded. So everything matters, and you're right, it does feel like a playoff game as the intensity, because you need to be successful.
Saturday, Burton Albion. Some Derby supporters won't consider it a rivalry, some will, and I know that everyone of a Burton persuasion will. When it comes to these sort of games, you have to match emotional energy that they're going to bring?
Yeah, I think, this is probably a poo-poo answer that no one want to hear, but from a player's point of view, it makes 0 difference, and my job is to make sure the players are in the right place. So from their point of view, no difference. For people who phone radio stations or go on Twitter or speak to each other beforehand or sing to each other, it makes difference for certain people. Like you say, half the fan base might not see it, half of their fan base might not see it. I haven't studied all the derbies in the country, and I know everything really well. From a player's point of view, it makes no difference. I don't think. The thing that does make a difference for the opposition is if they bring a big following and they start the game well and they feel empowered by it, that's the difference. But it would make no difference if that was Fleetwood's fans there, Shrewsbury's fans there, whoever. So from that point of view, it doesn't make any difference. So if we play Sheffield Wednesday last game of the season, and they need to win to get in the automatics, and we need to win to get into the playoffs, if that was a local rivalry or not, the game would still be an absolute firecracker. So, yeah, I don't see too much into that. I appreciate we have got another rival that play in red. I've sort of sussed that. I'm pretty sharp at picking things up, so well done to me. And I understand the intensity of that game, but I think this game will be intense because Burton have been in really good form since the turn of the year. I think, their points, they've had loads of changes to players, which has had a real positive effect. Obviously, they lost their striker, but I think they've done really well. So it will be a really tough game, as they all are. And I just think because it's local, it might add a little bit, but I don't think that will have an effect so much on our players.